Very good morning to all. I hope you are doing great. I am also good. Very warm welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Reena and I am so happy to have you here. In today's video, we are going to talk about these topics: exploratory, descriptive, quasi-experimental and experimental research design. So let's understand these topics one by one thoroughly. So first topic we have research design. Basically, research design is the blueprint that guides the collection, measurement, and analysis of data in a research study. So, let's take an example. For example, we want to do a research on this topic: factors influencing consumer behavior towards cosmetic products in Himachal Pradesh. So, what is the research design and what are the research approaches that we need to follow? So first thing we need to do in case of research design is to make a research approach. Okay, so what kind of research approach that you want to implement? Maybe qualitative, maybe quantitative, maybe mixed method approach that you use for your analysis of data. Okay, and which research type that you use? It may be the descriptive, exploratory research. Okay, and in case of descriptive, basically where you understand the consumer preferences, brand awareness and demographic influences. And in case of exploratory research type, where you identifying emerging trends and motivations for cosmetic purchases. And in case of data collection method, you go for two methods: primary data and secondary data. In case of primary, you go for surveys as well as questionnaire, and in case of secondary data, reviewing the existing literature on consumer psychology and cosmetic industry trends. And after that, you go for the sampling method and population. First of all, target the population in which consumers of cosmetic products in Himachal Pradesh. After that, take a sample size. For example, 300 respondent. And out of 300 respondent, you can divide these respondent into three categories. First one is urban areas, and second one is semi-urban, and third one is rural. 100 for each. And in case of sampling technique, you can use stratified random sampling based on the age, income and location. Okay, and after that you do the data analysis technique. And in case of data analysis technique, you can use qualitative analysis, and in case of quantitative analysis, you can do descriptive statistics, where you can find the percentage mean, standard deviation, etc. And after that, you can also use chi-square test to examine the relationship between demographic factors and brand preference. And in case of regression analysis, you have to identify the influence of brand awareness and purchase decision. Okay, after that, uh, you come to the outcome of your topic of your research. These are the outcome based on your research. Identify key factors influencing consumer choices: price, quality, brand, and social media. And also understand how age, income, and location affect cosmetic product preferences. So this is the example based on the research design. So basically, there are various type of research design, each serving different purposes and uses in different context. Among them, there are three. First, we have exploratory, second, we have descriptive, and third, we have quasi experimental and experimental research design are widely used in academic and applied research. So, let's understand these research design thoroughly one by one. So, first, we have exploratory research design. So, basically, it is conducted to investigate a problem that is not well defined or to gain deeper insight into a particular phenomena. It does not seek to provide conclusive answers but rather to explore potential patterns, relationship, and directions for further study. Okay, so these are the characteristics of exploratory research design. First characteristics is it is open ended and flexible. Second characteristics we have, it involves qualitative methods such as interviews, focus group, case studies, and literature review. It also helps to identify key variable for future research. Moreover, it also used in early stages of research. For example, understanding consumer attitude towards a new product before its launch. In that example, you can use the exploratory research design. And second example, we have exploring the impact of social media on teenagers' self esteem. Third example, we have investigating emerging trends in cosmetic preferences. So, in that case, you can use exploratory research design. So, these are the advantages of exploratory research design. First, we have it provides the rich qualitative insight, and it helps refine research questions for further studies. Moreover, increases creativity in hypothesis formulation. So, these are the limitations of exploratory research design. First limitation is lack of generalizability due to small sample size. Moreover, findings are often subjective and non-conclusive. Next, we have descriptive research design. Basically, descriptive research aims to systematically describe characteristics, behaviors, or functions of a population or phenomenon. It does not manipulate variable but focused on measuring and summarizing data. So these are the characteristics of descriptive research design. First, we have it uses both qualitative as well as quantitative data, and it involves the structured techniques such as surveys, observations, and case studies. And it also focused on answering what, when, where, how, rather than why. And data is collected systematically in case of descriptive research design. For example, studying the demographic and shopping habits of cosmetic consumers in a particular region, and also analyzing the consumer satisfaction level with a brand skincare product, and also observing the buying pattern of customers in shopping mall. So these are the examples of descriptive research design. So these are the advantages of descriptive research design. First, we have it provide a detailed and structured overview of a phenomena. It can be large sample sized for better generalizability, and it also helps in identifying trends and relationship. These are the limitation of descriptive research design. First limitation we have, it cannot establish cause and effect relationship, and data may be affected by biased in survey responses or observation. Last research design we have quasi experimental research design. Basically, it examines the cause and effect relationship between variables, but unlike true experimental designs, it lacks the random assignment of participant to groups. Instead, researchers study naturally occurring group. And these are the characteristics of quasi experimental research design. First, we have it involves an intervention or treatment but lacks random assignment. It often used in real world setting where controlled experiments are impractical. It also uses control groups but they are not randomly selected. For example, studying the impact of a marketing campaign on cosmetic sale by comparing different cities. And another example we have assessing the effectiveness of an employee training program in a company where participants are selected based on eligibility criteria. Apart from that, it also evaluating the effect of social media influencers on skincare product purchases among different age group. So these are the advantages of quasi experimental research design. First advantage we have more practical and feasible in real world setting, and it allows for studying real life events where randomization is impossible, and it can provide valuable insight for policy and business decision. And these are the limitations of quasi experimental research design. First, we have it is susceptible to selection bias since groups are not randomly assigned, and it's harder to control extraneous variable, making causality difficult to establish. And the last but not the least, this is the last research design, basically experimental research design. It is a scientific method that investigates the cause and effect relationship by manipulating one or more independent variables and measuring their effect on dependent variables while controlling for other factors. It requires the random assignment of participant to experimental and control group. So these are the characteristics of experimental research design. First characteristics we have, it uses the controlled environment to minimize external influence, and it also involves random assignment to ensure equal distribution of variable, and it also includes the independent variable and dependent variable and control group. There are three variables. First we have independent, dependent variable and control group. So these are the example based on experimental research design. First example we have testing the effectiveness of a new skincare ingredient by comparing result in a randomized control trial. And second example we have examining the impact of a TV advertisement on consumer brand preference by showing different version to different randomly selected group. And it also assessing the influence of packaging design on consumers purchase intention through an A/B test. So these are the advantages of experimental research design. First, we have it provides a strong evidence for causal relationship. Apart from that, high level of control over variables, as well as it replicable, allowing other researchers to validate finding. These are the limitations of experimental research design. Can be expensive and time consuming. Artificial setting may not reflect real world conditions, and it also ethical concern in manipulating variables that affect human behavior. So here is the table. In this table you can clearly see that we have four research design: exploratory, descriptive, quasi experimental and experimental. So based on the different features, they compare in the different types. Okay, so basically what is the purpose of all the research design that is mentioned here? In case of exploratory, the purpose is to explore the new insight, and in case of descriptive, there is the purpose to describe characteristics only, and in case of quasi experimental design, there is a purpose to study cause and effect relationship but without randomization. This word is very important to note down here. And next we have experimental. In case of experimental, the purpose is to study cause and effect with the randomization. And in case of flexibility, in case of exploratory, there is a high. In case of descriptive, its flexibility is moderate. And in case of quasi experimental, flexibility is moderate. And in case of experimental, there is a flexibility is low. And in case of data collection method, in exploratory research design, we use interviews, focus group, case studies. And in case of descriptive research design, we use surveys, observations, structured report. And in case of quasi experimental, we use data collection method. Here is non-randomization controlled studies, field experiment. And in case of experimental research design, we use the data collection method, lab experiment, randomized controlled trial. Okay, so in case of control over variable, in case of exploratory, there is a low control over variable, and in case of descriptive, control over variable is moderate. In case of quasi experimental, control over variable is somewhat controlled, and in case of experimental, control over variable is very high. In case of exploratory research design, randomization is no, and in case of descriptive, randomization is also no, and in case of quasi experimental, randomization is also no. But in case of experimental, randomization is yes. For example, take an example of exploratory, like you have to understanding why consumers prefer organic cosmetics. So where you use exploratory research design. And in case of descriptive, while you measuring customer satisfaction with the brand, this is the example of descriptive research design. Comparing sales trends before after a promotional event. So this is the quasi experimental example. Okay, so next example, based on experimental research design, testing a new sunscreen formula on different skin type. Okay, so come to the conclusion. Each research design serves a specific purpose in the research process. Exploratory research design is useful for gaining insight into a unclear problem, while descriptive research helps in systematically analyzing a phenomenon. And in case of quasi experimental research, design is practical when randomization is not possible, whereas experimental research design is the most rigorous method for establishing causal relationship. Choosing the right research design depend on the research objective, the nature of problem, and feasibility of conducting controlled studies. So that is all about for the today's video. Thank you so much. If you like this video, then do like and comment on this video, and also subscribe my channel. Have a nice day. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep signing. Bye bye. Take care.